Welcome to Trouble with Tish. I'm Tish and I be Trouble. And if you're a returner, welcome back.
Troubles on the mind, hand around your throat, out in open waters trying to stay afloat. Remember to forget.
So I was talking to Renee and she was so into this palette and I was like, I know, I really want the palette too. But it being good. And I thought about it and I was like, they've been really good. It's not an expensive palette. Maybe I can get my husband to buy it for me. So I asked my husband, he's like, yeah, go ahead, buy it. Whatever. So Renee said that she was doing a collab with Just Jessica. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. I was like, well, I just ordered the palette. And she's like, well, let me know when you get it and then we'll wait for you. So they waited for me. Like, they didn't have to, but they did. They waited for me. So I'm going to do a look with them using the Twilight palette. And a lot of people, I guess, were upset about the color story. But if you know anything about the Washington State coastline, it's very wet and overcast and dreary most of the time. And this color story actually is perfect. Now, for those of you who read the books, don't judge a book by its cover. A black background with a red ribbon in it. I read the books. The cover has zero to do with the actual inside of the books. Do not judge a book by its cover. This color story is absolutely perfect for the story. I think I am going to start out with this Irrevocably shade. I'm just going to take this Morphe 433 brush. I'm going to just put it in this outer corner here, this outer V. And I'm not looking to go extremely dark. I kind of want to stick to the gloomy, overcast, smoky color story of the palette. But I guess if you're going blues, at some point you're going to figure it's going to be a little darker, but not my normal dark. I love the Washington State coastline, and in true Washingtonian fashion, my family would go camping and we would use tarps to cover the campsite so that when it rained, because it was going to, we had something to stand under. We spent time in the mountains, and we spent time. So the coastline I mostly spent with my mother. My mom loved the coastline, and she met my stepdad at the ocean, and that was a match made in heaven. But my dad, I spent time with him out in the woods, out in the mountains. I'm going to take this Unconditionally shade and kind of blend out this darker shade here. So when it comes to, do I like the mountains or do I like the coastline better? It's a hard choice. I really enjoyed the time that I spent in the mountains with my dad and my dad's side of the family. But I also enjoy the time that I spent with my mom at the ocean. There's one thing my mom always requests, because she had moved to Michigan in 2006. She moved to Michigan, and So the one thing that she wants to do every single time she comes back to Washington, the first trip we always plan is a trip to the beach, a trip to the ocean. And it's kind of, that's what we do. It's a family. We go to the ocean. I'm going to take this Irresistible shade down here on my finger here and kind of stamp it into this outer area here. Now, I did spend time with my dad at the ocean, and I did spend time with my mom in the woods. It's just that those are the places that we preferred as, you know, that's the places that side of the family preferred. My dad preferred the ocean later on in life. The last time I went out camping with him or on vacation with him was at the ocean. The color story of the palette reminds me of all those trips to the ocean. I'm going to take the Immortal shade here. So when people say this is not the right color story, I feel like those people have never been to the coast of Washington State when it's been gloomy. And I'm not saying gloomy because it's not pretty. It's just kind of, well, this color story. Very muted, very cool tone, but still earthy. I showed the palette to my mom and she was like, oh my gosh, that's perfect for the coast of Washington State. She knows. Alright, I'm going to do the rest of my face really quickly. I will be back to finish off the look. Alright, I'm going to take the Irrevocably shade and run it along my lash line and then blend it out with the Unconditionally shade. Just going to stamp that darker shade kind of right up close. But like I was saying, I really wanted this palette not because I am really into like blues or cool tones, or even because I am a fan of the Twilight books. Not so much the movies, but loved the books. I am a fan of the coastline of Washington State. It has really good memories for me in my childhood as well as into my adulthood. The color story is pretty without context, but because it is related so closely to not a movie and not a book, but my personal life, I really wanted to get the palette and play with it. I'm going to take this Ice Cold shade here. I'm going to put it on my inner corner. And then run it down the front of my lash line here. I feel like I always have to concentrate on this part of my eye look. Just know one of these days I'm going to stab myself in the eyeball. This really is just a beautiful color story. And I think it's the right kind of blue for me. I know a lot of darker blues and a lot of brighter blues I have a hard time with. I think it's funny, I put a nude eyeliner in my waterline and it just kind of turned it slate blue. Alright, so this is the look I came up with using the Twilight palette. Now, there are more looks than just blue looks in here. This is a shade that is shifting a little purple. We've got greens and browns. I am in love with this palette. I want to thank Jessica and Renee for waiting for me. I know that you did not have to. And I really appreciate you guys. Renee especially has been there for me through some really hard stuff this last year. And Jessica, she's always been there. And lately she's been sending me these really funny memes and videos and stuff. And she just cracks me up. But I really want to thank you guys for waiting and including me in your collab. I will have them listed below. I always have Renee on the end card. But yeah, please go check them out. I know that they come up with amazing looks, and I'm sure they did absolutely stunning looks with this palette. Alright, so go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Please remember to go over and show them some love. I hope every single one of you has an absolutely amazing day. Remember, it costs nothing to be kind, and I will see you all next time. Bye.
Troubles on the mind, hands around your throat, out in open waters trying to stay afloat. Remember to forget.